everybody. Here we are at the Soshin session for our Monday evening. We do this every week. Actually, here in the temple, we have many sessions a week. But you might notice Monday evenings I guide every week. So these sessions cover all kinds of things about mindfulness, meditation, mental training. But more than just those techniques, what's it about? It's about you living your best life, us making our lives great, and together making life better for everybody. I hope these sessions are inspiring, enlightening, and give you skills and tools that you can use every single day, all the time, to make each moment more happy and more wonderful. So welcome everybody. We have a little tradition that was started by the founder of this world. I'm going to ring the bell and we line up and we make our way into the temple. And I'm not really one for traditions, but when they exist, I try to make the most of them. So as we enter, I just invite every one of you to just enter thinking like you're making this space or this time for yourself to help yourself as much as possible, to enlighten your mind, to cultivate well-being, to transform some parts of your life in ways that will be really helpful for you. So I'm going to ring the bell. We'll line up as you make your way in and bow to the temple, to the space that you're making, to the enlightened being, to all the wisdom within you, to all the wisdom within everybody. And then you can just stand on one of the cushions and we'll start with our collective intention setting. All right, so let's line up. And we're going to begin with our intention setting. So I'm going to say my intentions, and I invite you to say them to yourself, or say your own version, or imagine your own intention. So we're here, and the time we spend together, may we bring our best self. May we ask great questions of each other, of the session, great questions of ourselves. May we bring really powerful intention to imagine strongly, to feel strongly. Setting the intention that this time we're bringing our positive effort within ourselves to make positive dedications, to transform our perspectives, to empower our mind. I also want to set the intention that we make this happy and peaceful and easy and beautiful, and that we can carry that good feeling and that enlightened, positive state of mind all the time. let's take a moment just to set that intention that we try to carry peace, wisdom, and strength all the time. You are becoming a person of peace and wisdom, mindful enlightenment. And with that, I invite you all to take a seat. So, as I said to the people here before we started, tonight's session is especially open to each of you. What would help you most? But it's also open to everybody on the live stream. So I'm going to be checking. I can see if anyone writes. It might take me a little time to notice every now and then when people have written into the chats, but I can see the chats on YouTube and LinkedIn and Twitch and Twitter. So if you want to write to us, please be part of the session. So I'd like to start this evening with a short meditation, just to really become present to the session. And then as we discuss cultivating positivity and transformation, the meditation has made us more ready, more empowered, more open to taking on the positive changes that you choose to take on. Now, for people who are new to meditation, people use the word meditation to mean a lot of different things. And for me, it means any time that you're intentionally doing something with your mind. It might be singing positive songs. It might be doing a dance where you're trying to feel great while you're dancing. It might be breathing to really concentrate on the breath. It might be a relaxation exercise. It might be imagining swimming in waterfalls up in the air, but with the idea of feeling free. It's like any time we're intentionally doing something with our mind for some kind of impact. And yeah, there are certain styles of meditation, and the ways you do those different styles will have different impacts. But I like to think of meditation as it's like art. There are different kinds of art forms. There are different styles and genres. Different art will impact people in different ways. And so I've found the underlying parts of meditation that I think are most effective and least random. Like if you're imagining dancing with dolphins, some people will be inspired, some people will be sad, some people will just think this is ridiculous. So for me, that's not a kind of meditation I would do very often. The underlying practices that I think are strong is what I'll advocate for. But I'm definitely open that every kind of meditation, it's a practice, and they will all have different impacts. And some will impact some people more strongly. And the way that you practice will also massively affect the result of the meditation. So if you've heard of meditations before, I invite you always to have just a fresh mind, a beginner's mind. Every meditation is different and unique in its own way. Try and show up to each one fresh, open to hearing new things or seeing things in different ways. Or maybe it'll be a similar practice than you've done before, but this time you'll approach it slightly different, or just something different within yourself, and it'll be a wildly better experience. Or maybe it'll be just a steady experience, and that's okay. So my intention for the meditation I'm about to guide is just to let us be settled, let our minds be ready, let us imagine that we're ready to make a great session. And just by imagining that, you prime your mind, you get in the mood ready for that. So, let's begin. I invite everybody to become aware of how they're sitting. Feel your body. And you can notice that a moment ago your mind was maybe in my words and the things I was saying, or maybe it was thinking about something else. I hope that I was engaging your attention, but perhaps not. But now I want to grab your attention and get you to notice your body and see that you can move your attention. So now imagine feeling your body even more strongly, like you're catching your attention as you feel the part of your legs or your hips that touch the cushion or the seat. Feel how your legs are aligned. Maybe they're crossed in cross-legged posture. Maybe they're hanging over the seat. Maybe you're lying down. Notice the muscles in the legs. And many people will notice just by having that 20 seconds of just feeling the body, the mind feels a little calmer. And we're going to go deeper and deeper into that calmness. So you notice where gravity is pushing your body into the seat. Feel that connection. And then feel your lower spine. And as we bring our attention up through the body, I want you to imagine that you're moving deeper into meditation. Those of you who've had very deep meditations, it's something you can imagine. If you're new to it, just be open to whatever will happen. So as you move your awareness up through the muscles in your back, feeling the alignment of your spine, just move a little gently and enjoy the feelings of your body. And find a sitting posture where little micro adjustments in every muscle, every bit of your spine, to sit up in a way that feels great, that feels empowered, that feels happy. You might want to bring the shoulders up and back. You might want to breathe deep to expand the lungs. You might want to feel the head being stretched up. But they're all just suggestions. You just feel your body and adjust your body, dance a little with your spine, and find a way of sitting that feels good. And we're going to take 3 more deep breaths. And my aim is that by the end of the next 2 breaths, you'll have felt all the way up your spine, up through your neck. Your whole body will be feeling great. And by shifting our focus, we can change how we feel and our experience. So we're going to take a few deep, relaxing breaths. Notice that I changed the tone and speed of my voice. So let your inner voice become more soothing. And take the deepest breaths that you can comfortably. And especially when you breathe out, really just feel yourself letting go into peace, into relaxation. Breathe out slowly and gently, and just enjoy the feeling of letting go, all the muscles relaxing. And you could imagine the state of mind that you'd like to have for this evening session. Maybe you'll imagine feeling very mindful, calm and peaceful for the whole time. Maybe you'll imagine feeling inspired, or that positive ideas or different perspectives will transform you powerfully. Maybe you'd like to imagine being filled with love and kindness. The idea that we're making a world where people are more aware and more caring. So beautiful. Every moment, just soaking up any little tidbit of wisdom, just with so much love and devotion. Maybe you'd like to imagine that you'll be practicing mindfulness through the whole session, watching your attention, watching your reactions, watching your thoughts, learning how to guide where your thoughts go, learning how to guide each moment of how you feel. Or maybe you'd like to imagine your wisest self, the most kind, the most thoughtful, the most considerate. Imagine your best self being allowed to be fully present for this session. So I'll be quiet for just 10 more breaths. Let you practice and feel and experience whatever you wish. And for the last few breaths of this meditation, you can affirm to yourself whatever you'd like. I'll be super focused for this session. I'm ready for transformation. I'm happy at peace. Whatever you'd like, whatever's arisen from your meditation, just deciding what will be most helpful for you in this session, and say it like it's already true. I am feeling great. I am present. I'm bringing my best to this session. And then mindfully bring yourself from the meditation back into the room. Notice how you're thinking, your state of mind. Notice when you'll choose to open the eyes. Notice, just really keep noticing every part of your conscious experience. If anyone has any really nice feelings or really beautiful inspiration from the meditation that they'd like to share, please share that right now. People feeling good? Well, I'm feeling inspired. I hope some of you also are. I can see some nods. Great. So I just noticed that Lou F. Fit has been putting in timestamps, which is something I asked a while ago so that we can put in the video to see when the meditation starts and stops and the different topics. So I'm so grateful to see that that's just popped up now in our discussion. Lou, I'm not actually sure who you are, and if you want to be anonymous, it's totally okay, but I'd love you to put into our group Discord or somehow let me know who you are. I'm so grateful that you've done that. The chats from last week disappeared after the session, so I'm going to be extra careful not to lose what you're putting in this week. So thank you so much. And anybody that feels like contributing to these sessions, finding ways that we can share it with the world better, please contribute and help as a team as much as we can. I don't think you need to notepad them. I accidentally closed something last week, so I'm going to be extra careful not to lose them from now. I was just letting you know how much I appreciated what you did last week, and I hope we'll find what was done, but I'll make sure we capture them from now on. Okay, so we've arrived. We've done a meditation that hopefully everybody got something from, whether it was some mindfulness, some sense of peace, some shift in the state of mind, or maybe you noticed your state of mind and you'll just keep making it better and better through the session. And now I'm opening it up to all of you. Does anyone have any questions about meditation, mindfulness, training our minds, transforming how we feel in different situations? Perhaps you don't have a category of question. There's just something going on in your life and you'd like to know what would be a mindful way of approaching it, or a way of transforming yourself to be awesome in that part of your life. Open to everybody. Solar Punk?
Yes, I have a question. I have not had problems with meditating on equanimity as a focus. It's something it's more natural to me, but actually I
Before
have a
you go on,
problem
can you
with,
tell what equanimity is for the people who are not used to the
oh
idea?
yes, equanimity is the Buddhist concept of a well-rounded, easygoing mind where you do not get carried away with emotions, you do not let anger or even joy overwhelm you or control you. You're just perfectly calm and in control of your emotions. It's the basic spiritual focus that you always see, you always see authority figures in these different teachings, practicing, usually very balanced, very calm people. And that's something I am able to do. However, I've been trying to do more loving kindness, also known as metta, meditations for myself. But I actually, oddly, I find that really hard for some reason. Now, I've asked monks I've spoken to how to do metta, loving kindness for other people in my life in general, where you start, usually that practice starts with you imagine people you like or love, and you imagine them maybe starting as a baby or whatever, suffering through life, and then you imagine yourself giving them a gift or something if you need to, and then you imagine neutral people you don't have any feelings toward, and then you eventually imagine hostile people who you've had problems with, and you send goodwill to them, or if you really have trouble with them, what really helps is that technique of imagining them being born as a baby where they're first crying and suffering, and then they go through life suffering and struggling all the way up to this point. And then at the end of it, you're imagining yourself just handing them a big birthday cake, is a really nice sort of thing. And that's an easy, I can do that. I have no troubles with that.
I,
But
I
for
love that I've
myself
heard
is the
people
problem.
describe compassion meditation hundreds of times, and yet you still brought new surprises, birthday cakes, and giving them gifts, and that was beautiful. Thank you.
No, I'm glad you could use that. But the thing is, I can't do it for myself for some reason. I've been trying to cultivate this for myself, but I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Perhaps you could give me some insight as to how to extend metta towards myself.
It's a really beautiful question, and it is something that a lot of people struggle with. And why do I start with that? It's because if I told you that I was struggling giving kindness or compassion to myself, what would you think or respond or wish for me?
Compassion.
You deserve as much as any of us. Sorry.
So I also used to have this issue, and now I can easily wish love and peace for myself. So it was a hypothetical question. But yeah, not just the answer that every one of us deserves it. I hope that when I asked the question, a part of you felt like, oh yeah, of course I want you to feel okay. And one thing that really was helpful for me was to look around and consider everybody, and that I want them to be able to have love for themselves and for them to be kind to themselves. And when I was imagining that I want them to be able to do it for themselves, I then was also able to say, well, if I want them to do it, I'm going to do it for myself too. So there's my first tidbit. My second one would be, this doesn't relate to just this question, but to so many aspects of the mind. This may relate to your situation. If not, I'm sure it relates to many people's. So you go to give love and kindness to yourself. You're like, okay, cool, I'm ready to imagine love for myself. But I can't. I'm not. And then this idea of I can't, or I'm not, or but I'm critical of myself, but I'm sad, or whatever the things that are getting in the way, then when you go to think of love and kindness to yourself, these other things have actually overtaken the idea of kindness to yourself. So when we go to practice it, we actually end up practicing the other thing rather than just practicing what it is we want. Another example, when people go to imagine being confident and happy, but really, nobody likes me. when we go to do the practice, we try to purely focus on what we're cultivating. And if you notice the other things come up, you let that part of you also, just for now, purely meditate on feeling good with everybody. Or to bring it back to compassion for yourself, I'm going to practice compassion to myself. All this other stuff have come up. I'm going to just bring compassion to myself. It's going to overtake everything else. All that matters right now is imagining compassion to myself. Or maybe I can't even do it. What would the idea of compassion to myself be like? I'm going to do that. I'll find somewhere where I can do it. An idea where everyone's kind to themselves. Okay, I can do that. Oh, okay, I'll feel that for a little while. Okay, now I can start to imagine the idea of being kind to myself. Oh, now I can glimpse the feeling of being kind to myself. I'll stick with that glimpse. Oh, actually, that feels pretty good. Oh, I'm going to feel more of that. And you let the thing that you want to practice, you find somewhere where, yes, I'm doing that. And I'm putting the other stuff away for now until that thing grows and grows and becomes so beautiful. I don't know about the rest of you, but the journey I just took myself on I feel really good right now. So I hope some of you also had some sort of
Oh, I
transformative
felt that.
Yeah. So when you go to practice it, you just really say, hey, I'm practicing this now. The other stuff, I can wait till later. I can be critical of myself again in 10 minutes. Right for now, all that exists is love and kindness to myself. Everything's just that. You know, when I first started metta for others, I had been teased and alone and angry for so long that just feeling kindness for other people, for anyone, was really hard. But I knew I wanted a world where everyone had compassion for all beings. It definitely seemed like the best of all worlds. So I was like, kindness for others, kindness for others. And just like breathing, you can focus on your breath and boom, you're going to be just breathing. At some point, the mind will calm and you'll be just breathing. Same thing, single pointed focus on compassion. Okay, I'm going to feel some love for one of my family members. Going to feel it. I can feel a little glimpse. Oh, it took me 4 days and like 10 minutes each day. But bang, I'm feeling it. It's really nice. Well, it's a little glimpse of really nice. And then a week later, actually now it's grown to be really nice. It's this laser pointed focus, like I'm going to make this grow and I'm going to make it amazing and I'm going to make it beautiful. So there's my second tidbit. If there's any other stuff going on, just let them go and just really decide to focus on the practice that you're doing. So, first tidbit was we wish self-compassion for everybody and also yourself. You know, think of all the people that struggle with it. Give it to yourself as a gift for all those other people. Because when you say you've done it, it'll help others. So that was the first tidbit. It's a gift for everybody. Second is to just, if you notice there's other stuff in the way, really notice that, hey, I'm not going to do that now. Right now I'm practicing compassion for myself. Or I'm practicing that meditation is easy. Or I'm practicing that I'm confident. Or I'm practicing that I believe in my ability to do math. Or I'm practicing that I really love healthy food. Or like, let your mind go into what you choose to practice. And the other things, you're just letting them go. And then my third tidbit is just a bunch of ideas around self-compassion. So in each moment, your consciousness is shaping who you'll be in the next moment. And so the things you practice shape who you're becoming. So from that perspective, being kind to yourself I think, is the only thing that makes sense. It's like, what are you going to practice? What are you going to become? Which direction are you choosing to take your life? So yes, society or other people may have judged you or been mean to you or taught you to judge, and then you've judged yourself. But if you look at it from hey, what am I cultivating? What am I practicing in each moment? That doesn't really make sense. It's like, it's not guiding my mind in the direction that I want. So choosing that I want to have a mind that takes me in the right direction, and ultimately that takes everyone in the right direction, that makes sense. It makes sense to just use each moment of your mind in a way that is helpful. Other reasons for self-kindness: all the times that you've cared about someone in your life and then didn't just tell them straight away. I'm guessing hundreds of times, thousands, maybe millions. Now think of everyone around you throughout your whole life, times that they never even let you know that they appreciated you, or just they felt good having you around, or they were grateful, or they laughed at something you said. There's so much love for you that was never said that you didn't notice. And you deserve to know all that love. And there are times some people's lives get them to a point where they're actually alone. And maybe there is very little love or care coming to them. And especially in those times, you deserve to remember when people cared for you, and to care for yourself, and to care for the life that you are creating, and to know that you will transform what you're doing and who's around to get into a place where there are people who love and care for you. More reasons for self-love or self-compassion. It's healthy. When you are feeling good feelings and thinking good things about yourself, it feels better in the body. It won't, it's another point, it won't necessarily automatically make you make healthier choices or better choices, but you're more likely to think and do better things when you're feeling kindness to yourself. More reasons for self-compassion. In fact, I ask you, perhaps, to do the meditation sometime. What are reasons to give myself self-compassion? And just breathe and come up with as many as you can. So, tidbits. Know that everybody deserves to give themselves love and kindness, and feel with compassion all the people out there who are struggling. And so, as a gift to everybody, give it to yourself. Second tidbit is, when you're going to practice that, practice it. If you notice even the glimpse of any other thing, transform it. Laser focus, bring your whole self into imagining what it'd be like to have self-compassion, and to practice that and dive into it. And then the third thing, I just was a barrage of different reasons of why self-compassion can be a good thing. I hope some of them were convincing to you. I'm just going to breathe for a moment and see what else arises for that question. So as you're doing your compassion meditation for others, and my experience has been that when I feel compassion for my best friends, it feels great. And then I do that more and it feels even better. I like grow the good feeling. And I try to like really tweak it to be like super loving. And then when I go to do it for acquaintances, I've got this super loving feeling that I can shine out to others, and it's great. And then I send it out to even more. So while you're in that super loving state of mind, give yourself some of that. And also, as you're going through and thinking of people that are close to you that you know, you may consider ways in which they might also struggle giving love to themselves. And as you really see and connect with that, it could help in two ways. You may find things that you really want to say to them, or ways you want to be present with them, or ways you want to love and care for them. And I hope by engaging with that as something around you, it wildly transforms and frees you up to give yourself that self-love. All right, so I'm getting some love heart emojis from the crowd. I'd love to hear your thoughts, Solar Punk, or any other questions, or if anyone else has any questions related to compassion or self-compassion.
Yes, I thought I'd comment. I picked up 2 new techniques from your discussion that I can't wait to use in my practice. And what I find most interesting is how you take the energy built up from each level, starting with the loved ones and going out. You build that energy up, and you carry it over to each next group of further away individuals. And then technically at the very end of that practice, outside everything is yourself, and then you carry all that energy back to yourself at the very end. I think that'll work. I think that will work based on how I feel about it.
One thing I like to do is imagine that all the people I just sent compassion to were actually receiving the love I just sent them. And like they're looking at me, and we're like actually having this, like, you know, right now, I'm looking at you, person to person. I'm actually caring about you right now. It's like this realness of it. And so if I imagine all the people really receiving that love, and then sometimes I'll be like, well, some of them are going to send the love back to me. So imagine just all these eyes on me, just reflecting back all the love that I sent to them. I just got a notification that my headset's almost out of power. So I'm going to let you all meditate on love for all beings for a second while I try to fix it. Okay, so it turns out the power was not plugged into the wall. So I'm going to just use that as a chance to think of the metaphor of love and of love and kindness. So when we go to practice, think of, are you connected to the power? What is it that inspires you? Some people believe that there's an enlightened being inside of us that is infinite love for all beings and pure, perfect enlightenment. If you believe that, I suggest that you connect to that when you meditate. For me, it was the idea of a world where everyone was loving to all beings. So I think even when I was struggling so much to do compassion meditation, I was connected to that end goal of a world that's compassion for all beings. So, yeah, for everybody, when you sit to meditate, whether it's compassion meditation or mindfulness or inner peace or confidence, connect to the power. What is it that inspires you? Why are you doing it? We start these sessions with the intention setting. So I hope whenever you meditate, or every day when you do your positive thinking session, connect to that biggest vision, the most awesome you, the most amazing world that we're practicing, or whatever it is that is meaningful to you, and let that inspire and carry your thoughts and guide your experience. All right, I hope the power is working now. And Solarpunk, you said you had two things you wanted to share. One was that growing feeling, and then giving it to yourself. What was the other thing you wanted to share?
It's aside from the carrying the energy over, I think it almost seems like you're going into a metta trance. The way you're setting up, you're building up this energy, and you're sort of shaping this energy for yourself and using that to carry yourself. Technically, that's part of the first thing that I mentioned about carrying the energy over from others.
Oh, yeah.
But my mind sort of comes and goes with these issues. It can be challenging sometimes.
Or maybe the second thing was
but then I think,
giving it back to yourself when it's feeling great.
oh yes,
Yeah.
also the concept about how others have, how your loved ones, how they do feel a love or respect or care towards you, and it's not always said, and that it's okay to think about that, and that you deserve to know that feeling, that sort of hidden feeling. It's sort of like looking at a mirror to get the loving kindness to come back to you that way.
I had this performance piece that I used to do in my 20s, and I'd get up on the stage and it would go something like, there's that person, they're so amazing, oh, they're so cool, oh. And I just went on for quite a while of like ways that I was so impressed by them and enamored by them, and I was working myself up to say something to them. And after minutes, eventually I'd say to them like I like your shoes, or hi, or like and I think that's a part of the human experience. A lot of people really think other people are amazing, and we just don't have enough of a culture where you're allowed to say that. So yeah, that's just one more example of where people could be much more open with the things they like and appreciate about one another. And there are certainly big moments.
I was going to say the downside of being reserved, or maybe too equanimous, depending if you're intending to focus on compassion. Oh, one other technique.
Oh, can I respond to that?
I personally use. Yes.
One thing, as you were describing equanimity to everybody, you said not getting carried away in sadness or joy. And you just said about being too equanimous. So I wanted to respond, because to me, the equanimity is like a foundation. So I always have this inner peace. And it's something I recommend we all practice, that our inner self is like this ocean. So even the biggest waves, it's just a little splash on this huge body of stillness within you. But I like to think of that as a foundation. So I can always step into this calm. But if I choose to do a laughter meditation for 2 hours and explore how happy I can get, great, bring it on. I'm not going to choose to go and do 2 hours of exploring the saddest feelings I can. Some meditation practices do, and I have in the past, and I actually think it's really not good to do. So from this place of my inner self is this foundation of stillness, I then get to choose. So I don't think there's such a thing as too much equanimity. If I had infinite equanimity, and then some people will describe that as like, oh, I'm just going to go sit in a cave and just meditate. And yeah, sitting in a cave and meditating sometimes is awesome. But if you are just all the time just going to sit in a cave and meditate, I think I personally wouldn't choose that. I don't think that enriches the world. If everybody was just doing that, we'd be missing out on something. So infinite equanimity to me is like my consciousness is this unshakable awesomeness. But then I can then choose, how expressive do I want to be? How energetic do I want to be? How happy do I want to be? I'm choosing those other things on top of this foundation of mindfulness, peace, and freedom. And so if I ever notice I was too excited, boom, I can instantly step back into that infinite peace. Same thing, I don't necessarily think we can be too excited, but maybe we're too expressive in a certain way. There's times you might want to just be able to step back into that infinite peace inside you. So, yeah, that was just my response to the 2 times you mentioned equanimity, a little tweak there in how you might want to think about it. Solar Punk, you were going to share another practice or something?
Yes, one of the techniques I find helps, but it really needs to be paired with the other techniques that are practiced, is especially something that helps me since I tend to have attention problems. Sometimes I have hard times focusing on things. What I do is when I'm breathing in during mindfulness, with every new breath that I breathe in where I'm still mindful, I gently increase a tiny smile on my face. And I feel this it's not really a pleasure as much, it's a pride. Okay, it's a type of pride and self-empowerment that I'm feeling as with each new mindful moment. And I find that does seem to pair nicely with the metta, the loving kindness meditation, where as I'm increasing my power of focus and ability, at the same time the smile is increasing, and when you smile, it just seems to help with those thought processes, if that makes sense.
100%. We've done some happiness and laughter meditations here, and in real life, I had a couple of years where many times a week we'd have a few hours of getting as happy and ecstatic as we possibly could, laughter meditation of infinite joy. And I love it. I love exploring how we can, as you described it, go into a trance of some positive feelings, like just infinitely growing happiness or infinitely growing compassion. And for many people, if you haven't explored hypnosis or trance, like ways to guide yourself deeply into different states of mind, I would thoroughly recommend trying it and considering it, how it could add to your meditation. To give a stark example, people who are trying to do breathing meditation, there are some schools where they're like, just sit and breathe. And they're sitting there and their brain's wandering, blah, 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 or they're thinking, my brain's like a wild monkey, blah, blah, blah. And then eventually maybe the mind will settle. And for some people that works. The settling is nice. And for some people it doesn't really work. But compare that to a guided meditation where you feel your attention into the body and you relax the body and you relax the mind, and then you imagine your mind becoming really still and you change the tone of your inner voice to become calm, and then you choose to focus on the breath in a way that I'm going to be watching every nuance of my consciousness and becoming more super focused with my whole being. Both of those things I described the same meditation, breathing mindfulness meditation, but done vastly different, and you'll get very different results depending on the approach. So yeah, I thoroughly recommend people explore guiding yourself deeper. Explore some deep relaxation hypnosises or the idea of going into a compassion trance or a happiness trance is just that idea might be enough to guide your mind into something wonderful. Lou on the live chat shared something that I want to read. Sorry, it took me a minute to notice, but it was back when we were talking about compassion meditation. So bear in mind that each faceted nuance behind compassion meditation for oneself can be difficult for some, but they feel that with meditation and practice and reasoning, it's certainly possible. So yeah, thank you for reminding us. I was trying to run us away with the idea of like, wow, it can be amazing. And for some people who are like, no, I don't imagine that I could get to a point where I feel compassion for myself, or I can't imagine feeling really good compassion for other people. It is certainly possible. It may take some practice. It may take being around other people to like lift you up into it, but it's certainly possible. And just like a mathematical proof by induction, often they go to prove something, but they say, hey, look, it works here. And so we're going to prove that it works in all of these cases. The same's true with compassion meditation. It is possible to be a little more kind. And it is possible to be a little more kind. And it is possible for that to feel even more beautiful. And if you just keep going into that and keep practicing it, it is possible to get into these profoundly beautiful states. So Lou, thank you for your comment. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for being here. Do we have any other responses, thoughts, questions around compassion meditation or compassion meditation for yourself? Lemon wire?
I think that's a really good method to kind of bear in mind the question, but to ask it in different ways to yourself, so that way you get kind of a new bit of information with each passing, and maybe even to frame that attentiveness that you work on, Anu, as a deeper form of kindness to yourself, that you are gifting yourself with that ability out of self-compassion.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Yes, the concept of giving it as a gift. It seems powerful too.
Yeah, there's so many ways that we could, consider it.
Beautifully said, Lemon wire. Thank you. I have definitely noticed if I do a meditation and I do it regularly, sometimes I'll go to a different teacher, or maybe I'm guiding it to myself, and we just phrase it differently. The question might be said just slightly differently. And somehow just that different phrasing is enough that it makes me think of a completely different response. That even though the phrasing was only subtle, it really can change my perspective. Like the gift that you give yourself so regularly of inner peace. That is certainly a beautiful act of self-compassion. And so there are so many ways that a shift in perspective can be enlightening, inspiring, and freeing. So Lemon Wire, thank you for reminding us of that. All right. If no one else has anything else around compassion right now, I want to open it up for anyone else's questions, thoughts, topics. And it doesn't even have to be really well formed. If you like have a kind of idea but not exactly sure how you want to ask it, please put it out there. Let's see where that topic will take us.
I have a question on a bit about compassion. You're kind of trying to bring compassion to your life and activities.
Mm-hmm.
I found when I try and care a lot about other people or like other, things in the world, whether that's environment's a good example. It's easy to kind of feel burnt out or feel like, everyone has stories and problems they're going through, and I want to be able to listen to it all. And when you are open and a good listener, you know, people do tell you things, but it comes to, it feels like it weighs very heavily, or I feel like I almost get burnt out. So that makes me ineffective at giving more compassion. So I'm wondering how to navigate that, caring too much that it inhibits you from caring
I think
being able to do anything about it.
I think it's a great question, and I love that you're keeping it real. And hearing your struggle, that you've been carrying so much, and then there's more, that just makes me feel for you. I can really relate to that. Chapters in my life. Just the fact that you care so much, I think, is beautiful. And that you've been there for so many people and cared about big issues, that's beautiful. So I want to first respond, similar to something I said to Solarpunk before, that I don't think there's such a thing as too much equanimity. And similarly, I also think there's no such thing as too much caring. Let me qualify that. Is the actual wishing well for them, feeling love and well-intentioned towards everyone. That's what I mean. That I think that can be infinite. The time that you then spend listening to people's hardships, or the amount that you allow yourself to feel bad in response to environmental destruction, those things I definitely think you in terms of the time you invest with others, yeah, that's something I think you definitely got to find the balance that's wonderful for you. And feeling bad about destruction or about things that are happening to others, in fact, that I would say there's a different approach. If you were to approach all of those topics with equanimity, I hope, at least conceptually, you could imagine a mind that was infinitely loving and was able to see these situations of the environment or of others and bring their wisdom, their kindness, but also still have infinite peace.
Thank you.
And I'm glad you said thank you, because, that might sound pretty far out. It's pretty different, The planet's being destroyed. We kill billions of animals a year needlessly. We might be going to kill our whole planet, including ourselves. It's ridiculous. There's certainly reasons that you could get upset or angry or frustrated. But at the same time, you can also say the world is full of hundreds of billions of life forms, most of the time being kind to the ones around them, and that's beautiful. Humans are becoming more and more conscious every day. We're trying to be environmentally friendly. We're trying to be more compassionate and considerate all the time, and that's beautiful. And you are a lighthouse that's making that get better and better. So both of those are true. And then in terms of how you feel and the mindset that will help you the most or help all of existence the most, I think it's pretty clear which end of the spectrum is going to be more helpful.
I will think on that and try to apply it.
Wonderful.
And thanks again, Neo, for such excellent answers on loving kindness.
That's really nice of you to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would propose that, as well as thinking on it, try meditating on it. Imagine a mindset that's infinitely loving and infinitely peaceful, that you're this lighthouse of love, and you give wisdom, consideration, you do positive actions in the way that helps you thrive the most, and that you love it, and you're also super kind to yourself and look after yourself and empower yourself. Maybe your core goal is to empower yourself that you can help maximally, or maybe your core goal is to empower yourself that you can shape your life in certain ways and also help really well. Yeah, I'd meditate on being awesome at that. You make your life wonderful in a way that is compassionate and beautiful in the way that you choose. Now, there was two things you said. One was the emotional reaction, the heaviness, you said burnt outness. And I hope everything I said so far is a response to that. The other thing you said was just you have to spend more time listening to people. And you know, if you went out on the street with a big sign saying, "Hey, tell me all your problems," you could have more people lined up than you'd ever be able to handle. So it's a question that a lot of people have confronted. It's definitely been an issue for me. I now try to create environments where I can bring more positivity to more people. We film it so that it can go out to others. We have someone doing timestamps on different snippets so that I hope eventually we'll have great answers to any kind of question. So yeah, I guess I say that because I hope that you can ask yourself, where can you invest your time that will create the most caring, the most love? Maybe you have a whole circle of friends who come to you around something and it's heavy for you. Maybe you'd like to set up a circle where they all come together and support one another. Maybe you want to reframe it. So instead of it being a heavy conversation, maybe you go jogging with them. And as they talk about their life story, perhaps while exercising, it'll lift them up and they'll think about it in a way that's more empowered. Maybe you do it while you're dancing with them. Or, the answer to how you weigh up and invest your time with others, it's an infinitely broad question. Like, we all have different lifestyles and different people, so I can't answer the question, but I hope the questions I've given in response is a good springboard to where you go next.
I think so. I think on the meditation part, almost feeling like renewing yourself with all of existence. I'm going to try to meditate on that and continue to come these sessions, this is my second session here.
Well, I'm glad you're here.
And on the point about investing time, I think that's a really good to coordinate how everyone can help each other.
I'm trying to send you a friend
You've
request.
answered my question. Oh?
Oh no, I've already done it. um, and yeah, I love that you said you'd like to keep coming here. Being around the people that are intentionally practicing positivity is a beautiful gift for yourself. And, you know, the more vibrant positive communities are, the more accessible it is to more people, and the better the world becomes. You also just mentioned meditating to a point where it's rejuvenating. Having these conversations, helping others is refreshing. So yeah, I've definitely got to the point where that's the case. I love helping others. I love listening and caring. But there's still the issue of what do you do with your time, and how do you shape your life to be as beautiful as possible. So I hope some form of the question I just phrased is something you can ask yourself as you think about what you want to do with your time, with others, and with community, and with what you create. I'm just going to check the live stream. So Marlies just wrote, sometimes she feels like her caring includes non-helpful attachments. Any thoughts on that? So, I can guess that when we care about some people, we expect certain things from them, and expectations can make us upset. So if there's someone I don't care about, maybe I have compassion for them, but they're removed enough from me that they're not my immediate concern. I might see them, I don't know, let's say littering, and maybe I could like gently say, hey, pick it up, save a dolphin. But like my internal reaction is, it's not so big. But if I found like someone in my inner circle was littering, perhaps my reaction would be like, I can't believe you would do that. What about all the dolphins that you're killing? Oh my God. So I'm giving a hyperbole example, hopefully to illustrate the point that when someone's closer to us, for some people, that brings attachments or expectations that aren't helpful. So I want to go back to what I said before about there's no such thing as too much equanimity or too much compassion. So I invite us all to imagine perfect equanimity. It's this foundation of infinite stillness. Or kindness and compassion detached from any expectations. What is it like to just be this fountain of love, just flowing, well-wishing and care for others? Crank that up to the infinite. And then when someone does something that's different than what you would expect, your response will be love and caring and support. And anytime you notice someone you care deeply for and there's something that upsets you, if you see that you have this expectation or attachment, before you react to it, or as soon as you notice, try to see, oh, there's an expectation. How could I have perfect compassion here that would make me infinitely happy and would make the way that I said or interacted with this person be as helpful for them as possible? And if you just practice always turning to that, you will retrain yourself. So there'll be whole categories of things that used to upset you where you'll be like, oh, now my reaction to that is a whole bunch of love. And then you'll find some new category or new thing that someone does that you care about that pushes your button a certain way, and you'll be like, okay, How do I reprogram this button? And bit by bit, I hope with that intention, many of the buttons will be transformed. And so you'll become this ocean, this fountain of love for all in a way that's peaceful and wonderful very quickly. And then you just tweak it, you polish it as you find those little edge cases as you go along. Marlies, how was that as a response? Did that make sense to everybody? Does anyone want to ask any Actually, yeah, rather than saying did it make sense, does anyone want to ask any clarifying questions about what I just said? There's a hand back there.
I think that it's very cool that you view it almost through a lens of efficiency, I want to say, where to care for more people, or to do what you do, I guess, to share your teachings through multiple platforms to work smarter rather than harder towards the solution. I think that's a very good point that you're making through your actions.
I mean, I really want a world where everyone is enlightened, that we're just swimming in bliss because everyone around us is mindfully blissful. I really want that. And, I mean, there's been people working on that for thousands of years. We have to level up. We have to, like, feel the global consciousness with it in as many ways as we can.
I don't think everyone knows how best to go about that, though. Or I guess the thought doesn't always come to mind the most efficient process to take regarding that, or that's not even our initial intent, rather, when we're faced with or overcome with emotion when dealing with situations like that.
If I may interject on that, actually, I find two things really come into play for me that have been helping me. One is channeling a positive archetype, and the second is when you're getting into a situation where you know or suspect, or usually you kind of have a good idea in some of these situations that things are going to get out of control, or if you're dealing with people who are, I don't know, just challenging to deal with. There's a sense that a problem is going to arise, so you can start to channel for that. And for me, I'm always thinking of in Buddhism, there's the Siddhartha taught these two basic techniques for how you face adversity. One was the equanimous technique, where you're just very cool and calm and easygoing. And then there's the metta technique, where you're sort of like a parent looking at them compassionately, and you're extending compassion, outward in that sense. And for me, I see that as, I think, well, okay, which Doctor Who would I channel for this? If I want to do boundless friendliness, I can think of, one of the doctors, a little bit of wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. I think of something like friendly like that. So I start acting more like that Doctor Who as I deal with certain challenging people too. And of course, obviously, you don't want to do that. You don't want to make it look like you're trolling somebody for going up to somebody who normally expects you to be very, even-tempered. But still, just a little bit of that channeling. At least I find that helps me.
Sometimes, if you approach someone and you're in a really different state than they're used to, it can be amazing. They're like, whoa, now I'm really going to be super present with you because something interesting's happening. So yeah, like you said, sometimes they'll be like, what's going on? And sometimes it's awesome. And I think if people think of you as the person who brings creativity and interest, great. So I would recommend we try to channel different versions of awesome. And that's a really great suggestion. So you recommended different Doctor Who's. Some people channel different famous historical figures. Some people channel archetypes of like the wise being or the kind being. Some people channel their grandma, or some people channel that person they know who is always really something. There's so many great role models that we have, and meditating on things like I was suggesting is great, but we're social creatures, and so our brains are kind of hardwired that if you imagine how another person does a certain thing, it's a very good shortcut to step into that way of being.
Thank you so much. That was very enlightening. To kind of, I guess, paraphrase, I'm understanding that it's best to kind of lead up to a question regarding a new frame of mindset that you find conducive or positive. If I'm understanding you correctly.
That's different
Awesome.
to
Thank
what
you.
I heard. Can you try saying it again, Lemonwire?
My bad. I guess, to change one's mindset before they tackle the solution to someone else's kind of mindset, you want to be in a place that you regard as positive, or whatever emotion that you're looking for at that time that will give you that strength and insight and wisdom to kind of
It's
channel
sort of
that.
channeling that character into you and sort of becoming that character, as if you're acting the part of that character.
Yeah. Excuse my words.
When I first discovered meditation and brain programming, like I said, I was coming from this place that was pretty lonely, and so one of my top priorities was to make lots of friends and feel social and connected. Yes, I want compassion for all beings, but I also wanted to be loved and popular. So I wanted to go to lots of parties and be cool. And so on my way to parties, I would imagine that I was like the most vibrant, loving, awesome person ever. I'd be like pumping my arms. I'd be like, I'm going to get there and it's going to be great. I'm going to hypnotize everybody. I'm going to fill everyone with visions for a better world. I'm going to turn this whole city into a factory of world savers. And I'm going to make people laugh and dance. I'll have the best time. And 10 minutes of doing that, you're going to be feeling a lot better than if you hadn't done that. And I would recommend the same thing on your way to any kind of event. Rehearse. Really get into what do you really want to be like here? Do you want to be vibrant and awesome? Do you want to be wildly peaceful and able to listen really well? Do you want to be a powerful leader? Do you want to be creative and brilliant? If you prime your mind and keep on those ideas and feelings, they will grow. You'll get into a trance of it, and you'll be ready for it when you get into the situation. All right. I just noticed the time, so it's almost time for our closing meditation. With the topic of compassion being such a big one today, I'm going to guide a compassion meditation. Does anyone have any burning questions or comments they have to say before we begin? Let me check on the live stream as well. All right. Can I see a wave who has done compassion meditation before? All right, so it's going to be new for quite a lot of us. Excellent. So just to remind us, we're going to get into meditation. Think of those that we care for. When you've been practicing a lot, you can expand that out to all your friends and all your acquaintances and all the strangers, and then even people who hurt you, and then to all the butterflies and the lambs and the fishes and the trees and the forest and all of nature and all of the universe and all of existence. And you can just be swimming in this infinite love for all beings. That takes about a month of practicing each day. So because we have so many people new to the practice, I'm going to focus on those closest to us. So we're going to just be practicing making our feeling of kindness and understanding more beneficial, more beautiful. So I invite everybody to get comfortable. If you were here for our meditation at the start, you remember that we became aware of our body, and then we felt our hips on the chair, and you moved through the body and made yourself feel great. So I invite you to redo that to get your body and mind feeling really good. And if you missed the first meditation, just take a few really strong breaths to catch your attention. And start with the idea that you're moving into the meditation. It's like everything else is going to disappear. All the other thoughts, everything else is just going to be gone. And we're going to be moving into our mind. We're going to explore the power of our imagination, the power of our consciousness. So with that idea, take some breaths and imagine your mind going deeper into its awareness, deeper into your inner world. And notice how your body feels. Notice your shoulders, your arms, your spine, your legs, your face. And then just let it all relax. Let the muscles drop. If you feel anywhere that's tight, just let that be all relaxed and released. Take a couple of deep breaths and feel your whole body relaxing. And then we'll do the same thing for our mind. Notice how you feel. Notice your state of mind. Take a few deep breaths and let your mind become still. Moving into a state of mind where your imagination is powerful, where perhaps your visual imagination is more bright and vibrant and engaging. Maybe the ideas, the positive ideas are felt so much more powerfully, where you're free to think outside the box, to think about things completely different, and practice different states of mind, different ways of being. So take a few breaths. Move into that state of consciousness. As we now begin our compassion meditation, I invite you to bring to mind one of your best friends or closest family members. If you thought of many people, lucky you. I invite you to choose one person, someone who's still alive, someone who things are at the moment are all okay. If there's a few people in your mind, Just whichever one next is in your consciousness, pick that one. And so now imagine that person is sitting here with you. Maybe you straight away notice the feeling of care or joy or feeling good about them. Maybe you notice other things. And just setting your intention that we're going to tap into all the ways we care for this person, and we're going to grow it, make it easier and more beautiful. So you can ask yourself, if you knew this person was upset or suffering, how much would you care? Want them to be okay? Then notice how you feel to that question. We're going to let go of the suffering, but ride that intensity and let yourself feel how you want them to feel okay. You really care about them. Put a little smile on your face and imagine them feeling that care and feeling your smile. Feel the caring. Make it more beautiful. Perhaps you could think of ways that you appreciate them, times you laughed together or helped one another or been there for each other, things they've taught you, shared history. Take deeper breaths, and as you keep looking at them, just feel the feeling of caring, growing. Some people like to imagine a bright light in their heart flowing into the other person, and it's like this waterfall of love that just, the tap keeps opening wider and wider as more and more love keeps flowing. Some people like to imagine the smile getting bigger and bigger, looking into each other's eyes. Your smile makes them happy, their smile makes you happy, your bigger smile makes them happier, their bigger smile makes you happier. Just keep breathing and bringing your mind into more beautiful caring, more beautiful love. And we're going to make this more real in a way that makes it even more powerful. So as you're looking at them, imagine looking into their mind. Every day you have so many thoughts and feelings. So as you look at them, see them more fully. Experience the person, who they are inside those eyes. And feel the love and kindness for every part of them. And imagine if throughout the day, every moment, every interaction you have with them, it was a joy. You were just this flowing love and care to them. If other people come to mind, they can just wait for later. We're practicing focusing the mind. So just staying on this person you could make it more real. Perhaps you can think of some things you'd like to say to them next time you see them. Or maybe some things you'd like to say sorry for or thank you for. Maybe you think of the tone of your voice or the way you'd like to hold your presence so they could feel the extra love that you want to express. Just keep looking at them. Practice that love getting more beautiful, more real, more ever present. Some of you will find little moments where it just shifts to another level of love that's beautiful and warm and uplifting. The light glows more brightly, your posture lifts up. Some of you might have little glimpses where you see how it could be better. And I just invite you to keep following those glimpses. Bit by bit, it becomes more beautiful, more caring, more understanding, more warm, more fun, more easy. Meditating on compassion and caring. And now imagine if they actually could feel everything you just cultivated. Like really, imagine if they were actually here right now and you just gave them all the positive feelings and care you just practiced. And they really felt it. Perhaps you're feeling you want to tell them what a great friend they are, or how you love them, or how much you care for them. How special they are to you. How much you appreciate. And then we're going to take a few strong, deep breaths. And I want you to just feel compassion. That person, all the love you gave them, that's going to just keep growing in your mind and in your life. Just lift it all up to just feeling the idea of kindness, of warmth, of caring, of generosity, of understanding. Breathe into that feeling of compassion. And then I want you to bring to mind another really good friend or family member. And whoever comes to mind, just pour this love that you've been cultivating into them. Imagine them just feeling it straight away. It puts a smile on their face. You give them that smile. You're just feeling that caring together straight away. And as you look at them, you feel that you care about them and love them in different ways. There's just a different feeling of their presence. There's different things you appreciate, different history, different ways that you laugh together or care for each other. And so this loving and this caring is just growing and transforming. And let yourself shape it. How would you most like to be there for this person? How do you want to talk to them? Or how do you want to hug them? Or What kind of conversations or topics do you really want to have with them? How patient do you want to be with them? How completely do you want to see them for who they are? Not who you want them to be, but in this moment, who they are right there. See them, love them. Beautiful breath. Make the caring that you're practicing. Make it feel good. It's a gift to them. It's a gift to you. Every time you think of them, you'll have practiced this loving kindness. You're transforming your consciousness. You're transforming the part of you that is them to make that whole experience more beautiful, more inspiring, more lovely. And for the last chapter of this meditation, imagine looking at both of these people. You smile at them both. Maybe they know each other, they smile at each other too. You're all feeling the kindness and the warmth that you cultivated. And then you see them both smiling at you. And they say to you, we want you to be happy. We want you to feel okay. We want you to be kind to yourself. And you imagine receiving that love. You receive it as much as they'd want you to receive it. And you imagine a world where everybody is kind to themselves. Everyone is careful with their thoughts so that they think and feel in ways that make their moments beautiful and make the world a better place. Just take a few deep breaths as you give yourself that kindness. You give it as a gift for everybody. And just to wrap up the meditation, you can remember some of the most beautiful moments or the strongest perspectives or insights. Maybe remember how you want to feel towards these people and how you want to treat them or act, or maybe things you decided you wanted to say. And you could imagine if you practice this every day, how wonderful you'd feel with everybody. You can imagine if everybody practices every day, how nice every situation would be. Imagine if the whole world was practicing it and we all got to a point where we just had total love and care for everybody, for every person, every animal, for the environment, a world that was guided by caring. You're now part of making that happen. Just take a few deep self-loving breaths. Put a smile on your face. And before you finish the meditation, just ask yourself, what would you most like to finish with? Is it a stretch? Or is it sitting gently, just simmering in the love? Is it a moment of mindfulness and watching your consciousness change? Just bring yourself out of the meditation in a way that your creativity inspires. Creek sent us a heart, and the world says he loves us all very much, so very much. And Lou sent us a heart. So I'd love to hear people's peak moments, any beautiful feelings that you're having. Was the meditation okay and you're still just all chilled out in the love, or is it not okay?
Yes, it was nice.
Okay,
Thinking
good.
about them made me like miss them a lot, to be honest.
Sorry, I didn't hear
My
clearly. Could you
cat
say it
joined me
again,
in the
please?
meditation.
Foxy,
My
hold
cat
that
Like
thought.
joined me in the
remembering.
meditation.
Oh, lovely.
Okay.
Someone, could you repeat what you said? Sorry, I didn't hear it.
Yes. Thinking about them made me realize how much I miss them, and yeah, I would like to see them more often.
Wonderful. I have to respond to the idea of missing. It's an interesting one. I remember early in my meditation career, it just hit me that missing is an interesting word. It could mean, hey, I want to see them and I love them. Or it could mean, I'm sad that they're not here. And I love to take the approach of, what mindset would I choose? What would I design? And so I decided that the missing of like not feeling good, I'm never going to choose that. So I hope that as you think about them, you love them and you want to see them and you want to reach out to them, and you shape that in a way that it's just warm and beautiful for you. So
Thanks.
Fox,
I kind of felt sad meditation. I'll try to think it in another way.
well, I recommend you give them a call and you tell them how much you love them, and just straight away turn that into something beautiful.
Okay, thanks.
So Foxy, did you say that your cat joined you in the meditation? Wonderful. Yeah, it blows me away how often when we meditate, the animals will just come in and join us in our meditation. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, during our last session, my cat decided to join me for meditation, so I decided, I don't want to focus on the cat. Oh no, wait, if I do focus on the cat, I should be mindful as I pet my cat, so I'll mindfully pet her. But I'm still present here with all of you.
Would anyone else like to share any nice feelings or moments from the compassion meditation? Lou in the live chat said it was a
my
great
brother.
meditation.
Sorry.
I was just saying Lou wrote they
No.
found it a great meditation. Lemon wire?
Thank you. Oh, I thought on my brother quite a bit and how I want to be as confident as I can in my smile the next time I give him that when I see him.
Oh. During the second person, I heard my little baby saying his name, Neo, Neo. And so I was imagining how I would make my love and care just so super sweet with him. So you might have noticed I said, think of how you hug them. So I was imagining giving like a little kid hug. Um, so yeah, I think it's beautiful that we can make our relationships wonderful just by giving them this loving attention. So I hope the smile that you give to your brother just makes you both feel great.
I'll do my best.
All right, time's up. So I guess it's time for us to finish with our dedication. And then for those of you who are here on the live stream, we're going to make our way out into the courtyard and we'll have a social time. You're all welcome to join us here in VR every week. You can either join us with a headset, or some people are just joining through VR chat. It's just like a video game. You move into the world, you can look around with the mouse, you can talk with the microphone. So please come and join us. So for those of you who are new, we're going to stand and just to shift context, we're going to have our dedication similar to our intention setting at the start, but this is like the wrapping up of our session. So I invite everybody to stand, and then after the dedication, we'll walk out, and I invite you to bow to the enlightened being. Maybe there were some moments today that you thought were so beautiful, you just want to respect and honor them. Or maybe you saw a part of you that was so good. Bow to it, love it, give it all the dedication it deserves. And then as you leave, as you walk out, the crowd will be standing there and everyone will bow to you. So just feeling yourself bow to all beings. So for our dedication, we came here, we spent time together. We had a meditation, we discussed compassion, we cultivated compassion, and I hope we can dedicate that compassion, that practice, that wisdom, that self-awareness, that ability to transform ourselves. That we can dedicate that to you, to your best self. Every day it's so precious what you do with your consciousness. Every day shapes who you'll be the next day. So may you dedicate that your life is precious and that you make your consciousness more beautiful, more awesome, more inspiring for yourself and for everyone around you. And bit by bit, as we all practice that, our community becomes more amazing. Your communities become more amazing. As more and more people practice dedicatedly, the world becomes more amazing. So each time we practice, may we dedicate it to a world where we're all enlightened, where kindness dominates everything, where wisdom and creativity and freedom guide all our choices.